I thought he got on me, so I started wiggling real quick. But no, looks like we got lucky there. Whew. Everything's red because that reveal invisible is going to last forever. Ooh, can I still kill you? Yes, thank God. But yeah, I never knew there was a connection between summoning a trapper or some other creature and your sanity failing. I thought the game was screwing up because my trapper kept just vanishing. There's not like an animation for it or anything. It just happens. It just like the spell just fails and it just snaps back to Peter. Yeah, this guy we will pop this rifle for, probably. Because we don't want to get close to a horror if we can help it. Let's go ahead and burn these zombies first, though. Take care of that. Okay, so he's burning. Get around you. It is nice when you get a good enough ranged weapon to fight these horrors like that, so you don't have to get all up and jiggity in their grill. It's pretty good. Because that's happened before. I booted up GameCube games in my Wii and they just don't work, or they don't work the way I'm expecting. I think there's two paths here, and I want to make sure I'm taking the right one. And this is an old game. I've had this game since like 2001 or so. It's ancient. Oh no, I don't want to go this way yet. We'll come back and fight that bone thief later. There's an important item we need to get. I think it's optional, but it's not optional. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to literally actually pick it up in order to win the chapter, but if you don't pick it up... I think we came in this door. This room has so many exits. Maybe this way. Is this... No, that's where we came in. We're looking for the ritual room where Paul Luther found his dead custodian friend. Here it is. I hear trappers splatting around. But that's not a good state to be in when you're playing a game that you've played before and you think you know everything about it. But you have to ask yourself, like, is it because the game is screwing up here, or is this intentional and I'm like reading it incorrectly? But all this in the ritual now is this magical elixir, which fills up your magic meter, and you can drink it like 5 times. It really is magic. And without it, it makes the end of this chapter much more tedious. But the good news is that my Wii is still functioning, and my GameCube disc is still functioning, and Eternal Darkness is still functioning. There was just a mechanical attribute of the summon spell that I was not aware of previously. Which I guess is kind of neat. Oh, this is the wrong door again. I'm going to keep going in this door repeatedly. And be met by that rat, apparently. Okay, so we've killed the trappers in this room. And here's my man, the Bone Thief. There was my man, the Bone Thief. Oh, this is another soldier's letter. Third letter from Private Reginald Jackson to his love Margaret. It's been 2 weeks since Haskell went missing, and I'm afraid to go to sleep. More than once I saw shadows of people moving past my bed, peeking through the blinds to see a wounded soldier being taken from his bed, drugged and delirious in the dead of the night, never to be seen again. As Haskell was, perhaps as I will be. What happened to them I don't know. I'm afraid to ask what happened, for I know that I would surely be next one to be taken into the darkness. So unlike Luther, who found these journal pages in order to solve a mystery, like give him clues, we're just finding journal pages that just confirm, hey, yo, evil stuff is absolutely happening here. Oh man, do we get another creepy grandpa scene? I'm down for the creepy grandpa scene. Everybody get your drink and enjoy.
Ah, sweet.
Oh, this one's even creepier than most of them.
Many centuries I've waited for you. You are mine. Don't disappoint me now. I've waited such a long time, Alex.
Never! I know what you are. I've seen what happened.
Oh. Would you explain it to us? Because I'm not really clear on what Creepy Grandpa is.
You can try to fight me, but in the end you shall succumb to my desires. My foolish child.
Now, one thing you might be thinking is because Creepy Grandpa is blue, he's glowing blue, and blue is the color of Ulyaoth. Well, in this playthrough, Pius is aligned with Xelatoth, so I'm not really sure what the read on that situation is here. More trappers. Like, ghosts are always blue, and I think the reason for that is Ulyaoth is aligned with the planes, and the planes in this game mean magic. Oh, there's a trapper here, too. Let's kill you the old-fashioned way. There we go. And when you die, like, your spirit begins to inhabit another plane of existence. I think that's the idea. Because, like, the land of the dead is another plane of existence, and Ulyaoth is the master of the planes. That's why ghosts always have a blue glow in this game, no matter which character you're playing it, or which ancient one Pius aligned with. I think I have that right, but then it doesn't make much sense why Pius would use that to his advantage to try and get into Alex's head by becoming Creepy Grandpa. Like, why is that a tactic he would use if he's not aligned with Ulyaoth? We definitely want a torch here. These hallways, these cramped hallways where it's difficult to swing the sword, kind of, much trickier in the other playthroughs because you can't one-hit kill the other kinds of zombies, especially the Chaturga zombies, the red ones that are made of just muscle and meat that regrow their body parts. You just gotta hack away at those fools. And you can do this overhead slash, like this, but if you're not perfectly overhead and you try to swipe, your sword gets stuck on the wall more often than not in cramped quarters like this against multiple opponents. And you may be wondering, like, hey, you know... Uh-oh, here we go. A scroll sits on a small shelf mounted upon the wall. Make sure you don't... To make sure you don't miss it, they hang it framed on the wall, the magical attack spell. But yeah, you may be thinking, like, you fought one horror, but... like, there weren't any guardians in this chapter, or... The corridor is ended by an elaborate door, decorated in a manner much different than the others within the cathedral. Peter senses an unbearable evil beyond that door. When he reaches it to open it, fear creeps into his gut and begins to eat at his soul. Should Peter open the door? Realistically, probably no. I mean, you saw what happened to Mr. Luther. What'd you do with your sword, Peter? No, Luther made the same mistake. Luther left his crossbow behind, and you saw what happened. Oh, he didn't see what happened to him. Actually, I don't know that that's true, because every time a new character picks up the Tome of Eternal Darkness, they walk through the Hall of Eternal Darkness, and they see the statues and stuff, and then you get those bright flashes of all the other characters that came before. I think the signifier here is that the character is inheriting the wisdom of all of the points of light that came before. So I don't think it's a stretch to suggest that Peter understands what happened to Paul and Luther here. Intuitively, if not intellectually. But for whatever reason, Xelatoth's Guardian decides to not just one-shot Peter here and give us an actual fighting chance. And welcome to the first of two big boss fights in Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. And this could be very frustrating if you don't really know what's going on. The only thing you can do to hurt the boss is cast magical attack like this when it's glowing. That's it. And you've got to do this 3 times, because each one of these spells deals 1 damage. The boss has 9 hit points, and changes phases every 3 damage you deal. If you can cast a 7-point magical attack, that deals 3 damage in 1 shot. I'm low on magic. Let's go ahead and have some drink. And if you're really good at the game, and you know the exact timing to do here... Oh, get off me. Yeah, she's got lasers, and she's also got I'm going to grab your head and make you insane attack, but... which you got to break free from. Enjoy the clickiness of the GameCube controller. And the timing is not super fine. Like, it's not difficult to nail down. For dramatic purposes, mostly, we're just going to do this the long way. Are we ever going to use lasers again, or is it always going to be grab my head with your horrible greenness? No, it's just head grabby. I need to see if I can pop a 3-point spell here. There we go. There it is. So yeah, if you get a 7-point magical attack, the thing is, the boss doesn't flash. Like, when the boss starts flashing and you notice it, you've got time to cast a 3-point spell before she's done flashing. If you're going to use a 7-point spell, you've got to start casting it before she even begins flashing. And now we just got these zombie nerds who we're just going to blow apart. I don't think this will get her, though. It did. Okay. We don't want to get too close. And I do have kind of a visual cue for this. I love this camera angle that we get to stand at right here. She's going to summon more zombies in this phase. Brickroad, you're so transparently just setting up an excellent thumbnail frame to use for this video. Yes, I am. As soon as that third zombie, the glow on him fades, that's when you want to cast the spell, and it should get right in there and damage her. Beautiful. I remember I streamed this game once. The first time I played this game in well over a decade. I played it on stream, and I did not remember anything about this fight. I got stuck here forever, because for some reason my vestigial memory of the game was you have to shoot her with a gun to make her vulnerable. But of course no gun works, and in fact if you try it, she just kind of makes fun of you.
Are you trying to fight me or entertain me, little one?
I guess the reason she doesn't just straight up one-shot Peter the way she did Luther is because back in the day she took this job seriously, and now she's just bored and she's starting to break away from... Because remember, the whole reason that Pius needed to trigger World War I in the first place is because this Guardian required more meat. It was becoming harder and harder to control. So I think the idea here is, like, the Guardian is looking to be entertained, so she's playing some cat and mouse with Peter. But, you know, I better have some more drank. And I think when we're done, we're going to have 3 doses of drank that Peter can just take with him. And now it's just a matter of running back and forth and avoiding these explosions. And eventually she'll get tired. And here's an element of randomness to when she gets tired. But you'll see her, like, droop down when she gets sick of trying to explodey face me here. Right there. So in order to sneak in a 7-point spell there, what you kind of have to do is anticipate. You have to be casting the spell while her explosion is going off. So you kind of have to anticipate. Maybe there is a pattern to how many of these she fires off before drooping down and taking a little break. Taking a little breaky break. I'm pretty sure it's consistent. Like, I think speedrunners can do it consistently, but maybe with practice it's probably not super difficult, but if you know the ins and outs of the fight, the little tricks, the little visual tells to look for, the fight's not difficult anyway. But if you don't know what to do, as I didn't when I was streaming the game a couple of years ago, it can get pretty frustrating. I had a mental block in place. I was remembering you've got to fire the gun at her at some point. I think what I was trying to do during that playthrough is wait for her to flash, then hit her with a gun, and then that would make her vulnerable to the magical attack. But that's not it at all, obviously. You'll also notice for the first 2 phases I kept my distance from the boss. With the Guardian of Xelotov vanquished, and the stained glass that kept it hidden laying in pieces, the essence of Cthulhu is now liberated. Its magic beckons to Peter, calling to him. He approaches cautiously. Should Peter retrieve the essence of Cthulhu? Yeah, sure. And once again, he has just an instinctive knowledge that I shouldn't touch this with my bare hands, which Pius was not smart enough to know. But yeah, if you keep your distance from the boss, in the first phase she uses just the long-distance laser attack, or the grab-your-head attack. And during the second phase, she only summons zombies. If you get too close to her, she'll use that explosion attack all 3 phases. And I think another problem that I had when I went back to the game is I remember dodging the explosion attack, but I didn't remember not having to do that for all 3 phases. Anyway, I feel like I've got to explain myself here because I am a little bit practiced this chapter. I did a test play of it earlier today. But I know some people will be watching this video who watched me stream that fight a few years ago and getting salty about it because I didn't know what to do. And I'm not really sure. I think the game does give feedback. If you try to shoot her too much with your gun, she says something like, "Do you really think conventional weapons can hurt me, mortal? Ha ha ha, I'm so good." And that's your clue. Obviously, your other clue is you get the magical attack scroll outside of that boss fight. Which, spoilers, if you don't know how to make the magical attack spell, you don't have it before this point in the game. The first time I played the game, I didn't have magical attack to clear out all those trappers previously. There is something that I forgot to do in a previous Alex chapter that we will do now. But first, just because Ulyaoth's got to poke his head in where he's not wanted, we have another blue zombie. Not zombie, ghost. But it's okay, she's a plot ghost. It's fine.
I can't get the blood out.
And that ghost gives us the basement key. What? That doesn't make any sense. It'll make sense, don't worry. That's not just a random plot ghost. We have to run upstairs real quick. There's a thing that we forgot to grab when we were up here before, which you can get, I think, either before or after Kareem's chapter. See, you can get into this bathroom with the bathtub jump scare a lot earlier in the game, but I did not pick up this journal page last time I was in here, because I was so like, I'm going to run in here and do the bathtub and scare the guys, and I forgot this journal page. Journal page of Maximilian Roivis, and you get to read this before he goes insane, so let's read it. Everything that brightened my life now engulfed me in darkness. I fed on the light of truth, yet starved on the shadow of lies. I've learned through my lifetime, but no less than a newborn baby. And it sounds kind of poignant and philosophical, and you don't know who Max is when you find that page. You don't have the hindsight that we now have. And when you play through Max's chapter, when he doesn't go... You see how he ends up in the asylum, but he doesn't actually go insane during the chapter. So you kind of see Max as this... Oh, there's a shotgun shell. Ooh, that can only mean one thing. It means there's a shotgun on the wall. Booyah. So yeah, my conception of Max, and I think this was intentional, the conception of Max here is... Oh yeah, fuse box. Same puzzle, again. That because he's one of the Roivis family members in this house, clearly we're going to go back to his time period and do something here. He's one of the points of light that fights the darkness. Because you get to see Anthony and Kareem, and then you play through Max's chapter. Anthony and Kareem, they don't end well, but they both they fight heroically. They both get something done. And then, of course, you'll come up the stairs, and you'll see the ghost Max walk into the wall right here, this very non-conspicuous wall. But now that the lights are turned on in this room, we can get the second journal page. I sought to love all, yet now love causes me pain and suffering. I've learned to fear nothing, although it is nothing that I most fear. All that were loyal to me now number among my worst enemies. So yeah, he's starting to slip. Max is starting to lose it a little bit. An antique medicine cabinet hangs on the wall. Its wood is stained from years of use in the ambient humidity of the room. Should Alex open the cabinet? Yes, she should. and a journal page lies therein. Alright, Pius, what are you screwing up now?
You are not free to leave this plane until you complete a task for me. You are to hunt and kill.
Another read on the whole plane stuff is that all three of the Guardians have access, at least in part, to all three of the Guardians' purviews.
Fear the wrath of Ulyaoth.
Like, he's summoning monsters from other planes, even though the planes are Ulyaoth's purview. But the flip side of that is that Ulyaoth's monsters can drive you insane, even though that's Xelatoth's purview. And of course, all three Guardians can summon monsters into the physical realm, even though the physical realm is Cthulhu's purview.
And that is not too many years from now.
They're all kind of reflections and
this time,
echoes of each other, in a way. Just each one has their most powerful aspect. So when Xelatoth wants to create a ghost, or Pius, her minion, wants to project himself as a ghost to someone else, he has no choice but to use the power of the planes, because the power of the planes is what powers ghosts. But he can use it to try to drive somebody insane. And that's it. It's a couple more chapters before we have our next boss fight. I'm going to go ahead and save the game here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Shoutouts to Jay Kai for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.